Hi and welcome to episode 41 of China Tools, a series of videos where I put products from China to the test. And in this video I will tell you my experience with this Gweike Cloud CO2 laser. Hello again, my name is Dennis and I am from AUKtools. And whenever I review a laser, I'm always a little bit worried about whether it will be interesting enough for my regular viewers who are primarily woodworkers. And although as a hobbyist woodworker it is a tool I use regularly, it still feels like it has to earn a place in the average workshop. And that's a shame because you can not only make beautiful things with a laser, it's so convenient when you can make all the templates you want. But I got fascinated by these products and G.weike Cloud offered me a chance to test this CO2 laser for 3 months. And after this I could decide whether I send it back or to buy it. And I did some reviews lately about lasers, and they were all diode lasers, which are much more affordable. And because of the fast innovation of diode lasers, they have become more and more powerful and slowly closing the gap in power to that of a CO2 laser. And this 20 watt diode laser is perfectly capable of cutting 6 to 10 mm MDF, and because of this I think it is an excellent addition to every woodworker's workshop. But if I compare this to the G.weike Cloud 50 watt CO2 laser, although almost twice the price, it is of much better value than this 20 watt diode laser. And I want to be careful here to maintain your attention when you are interested in a laser in general, because the problem is I'm really enthusiastic about this laser and it's even hard for me to express how much I like it. And when we are talking about a laser between $2,500 to $3,000, you might get a bit skeptical about that. So I want to emphasize that I take these reviews very seriously and feel a great responsibility to give my thoughts as objective as possible. And also with this laser I spend a lot of time with it on several projects. And although it's still not a perfect CO2 laser, I cannot help that I think it's a great product. So let me explain why I think it's still not perfect and why I think it's such a great package. What I like about this G.weike Cloud laser is that it is a plug and play laser. And everything you need to use it in a good and healthy way is included. And this is a long list when you compare that to a diode laser. So to quickly sum it up, it's a 50 watt CO2 laser built in a sturdy and high quality housing with a glass top. It has a honeycomb bottom over the entire working area of 51 by 30 centimeters. And underneath is a drawer for efficiently cleaning the machine. The cooling system is also inside. There's a camera to help you to align your projects, and all the cables are well organized. And on top of that it looks beautiful and still has a practical footprint. It's not that big. Another box includes a 3-way HEPA filter and houses the air pump. And other than the laser unit, this box has a plastic top. Still, it looks very nice. And at last there's an exhaust fan and all the hoses are included. Some spare parts and a starter pack of materials. So that is a complete package, and although a diode laser might seem more affordable, you have to realize that you cannot use it outside of a box, so you have to build it into a closed environment. And therefore you need ventilation, something like a honeycomb panel and something underneath it so you will not burn your table. And because these diode lasers have become more and more powerful, they create a lot of toxic smoke, so you need to enclose it in a box. So when you look at this machine, there's no question that it is worth the extra money. And if you compare to a globe for a CO2 laser that is quite similar, it costs above $6,000. And it is not even a better CO2 laser. So whether you compare it with a diode laser or a CO2 laser, it has a very interesting price point in both cases. And of course this machine comes well packed. And I had this machine work in about 45 minutes. And everything works fine and there were no difficulties in setting it up. A significant advantage of this machine is that it works with Lightburn software. And I'm familiar with Lightburn, so that should not be a problem. A diode laser has a fixed focus point, so you need to place it at the right height manually. But with the G.weike Cloud laser, this works with software, and by adding the material thickness, the laser goes to the correct position. I call it a plug-and-play machine because it all works so flawlessly. And that may seem obvious, but I'm unfamiliar with this level of user experience with my diode lasers. As usual, this is a quick reminder that you can find a ranking among all products I tested on my website, www.hooktonwood.online. But I also recently redesigned it, so finding the topics and downloads is clearer. I hope I can welcome you to my site soon. And if you want to create a template, it's straightforward and quickly done. And that makes it a natural step in my work process. It is a 50 watt CO2 laser, and because of that, pretty powerful. If I have to cut 10 mm MDF, it goes in 2 passes. And it is roughly more than twice as fast as my 20 watt diode laser. So making this template to cut a perfect circle of 28 centimeters takes just some minutes. Another advantage of a CO2 laser is that it can cut clear acrylic. It melts down the edges nicely, giving it a very lovely and brilliant finish to the acrylic. And it made my ultimate miter fence a fantastic look. But the results depended on the acrylic I used. With the more affordable acrylic, the edges could have been more brilliant. But I find it also much better able to cut colored acrylic compared to a diode laser. And it melts down the edges so much nicer, giving it a very smooth edge. G.weike has been an industry laser manufacturer for the past 19 years, and this Gweike Cloud laser is their home version of it. So it comes from a professional corner. And other than the diode laser, which I see as a hobbyist machine, this Gweike Cloud laser is much more suited for small businesses as well. When you run a business, small or big, you have to rely on your machine. And I had 2 problems in the last 3 months, and I contacted the contact person of mine, and those problems were fixed in, I think, 5 to 10 minutes. They responded really quickly. So I want to try that again, only now the official way, and see if they are available for me. It's now around 2000 hours in China, so let's see if they are still available for me. And the standard message is to download a particular chat program, but I didn't do that at first. But I was surprised I got an actual person immediately, so there was no robot at the chat function. And I cannot give you the entire conversation because they asked me some specific information to identify myself, but it took me 12 minutes from my question to my actual contact with the technician. And he told me that it would be even less if I had used the downloaded chat software. So there are actually 24/7 shifts of staff, which I think is a great benefit and essential when you want to run a small business with this laser. And I'm really enthusiastic about this laser as a woodworker. But many people dream about starting on their own to create extra income. And when working with a laser is in your field of interest, with some creativity, I'm convinced you can earn this machine back in no time. And then it's good to know that you deal with a professional organization that is available 24/7. During my use in the last 3 months, there are a few things I think can be improved. I see in other reviews that some users complain about the noise of the air pump. And as far as I can see, they have implemented a new air pump, which is much quieter, to the point that I think it's not an issue anymore. Still, the air pump I use for my diode laser is even more modest. A bigger problem for me is that when you turn on the machine, also the air pump starts. And this is annoying because it only needs to run when you actually are cutting or engraving something. But they released a new version of this machine and that addresses this. The air pump can create enough air, but I found the amount of air at the laser point a bit weak. So somewhere in the line there is too much resistance. So I guess cutting can be even cleaner with lesser burning marks. You want to be able to adjust the airspeed, and that works with this valve. But I don't find this a friendly solution. It's too tight to operate and you need a screwdriver for this. So for my convenience I use my air pump with a speed dial, and I think that would work even better. The G.weike Cloud laser comes delivered with this HEPA filter box. That also includes the air pump. But I think the ventilator inside the laser is too weak to exhaust the smoke properly and run it through this filter. When you do not use the filter, it works well. My G.weike Cloud came delivered with this extra inline ventilator, which is very nice and includes this remote control. And this makes a lot of a difference, so I think it is a valuable option. When you want to cut or print something on a large workpiece, this machine has a pass-through. But this gap is minimal and only works with 3mm thick workpieces, so I think the use is limited. And the whole construction and place do not seem well designed for proper usage in my opinion. There's a built-in camera to align your project. And the G.weike Cloud can use 3 software programs, of which 2 are from G.weike Cloud and 1 is from Lightburn. But when you use Lightburn, you must attach another cable to this camera. And although this works, it could look better. And they also address this in the newer machine. And the precision from this lens should work within 1mm. That said, my diode laser could shoot a weak laser point to align my projects. And it would be nice if that option would also be available, because that worked really well and in some circumstances even more accurate. When you open the tray, the laser shuts down. And the same counts that the laser will not run when the tray is not fully closed, which is of course a good thing. But there's some play in this tray, and it happened to me that although I thought the tray was correctly closed, it did not reach the contact points. And this was the second problem I had to call the customer service for. So now I know that it's not a problem, but I think this can happen too easily. So these were the points I think can be improved, and some of them already been solved. But none of them are deal breakers for me. I do have the Pro version, which costs $3,100. And the difference with the $2,700 base version is that it adds a rotary device. But I understand that you cannot add this later to the base version because these buttons need to be included. So it's good to realize this when you must choose between them. So to summarize, what I liked about this Gweike Cloud is that it is a plug and play machine. The software runs very stable and gives a good user experience. It works with G.weike Cloud on and offline software and Lightburn, which makes all the difference for me. I consider it more of a small business machine rather than a hobbyist machine, and this is a huge difference when you compare that to a diode laser. And this mainly concerns the power of 50 watts, the very sturdy build quality of the machine, but not in the last place because of the professional organization and customer support. And I have worked with this laser for almost 3 months now, and besides the points of critique, I love working with this machine. I see so many possibilities to create your own business with such a capable machine. And when your interest is in the field, what you can do with a laser, the price of this G.weike Cloud laser cannot be the reason to hold you down. So you will see this G.weike Cloud laser definitely in my future videos. So I hope you like this video and that it can help you with your choices when you are in the market for a new laser. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and well, we keep in touch.